Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Essential Photoshop course for beginner to intermediate. So, if you intend to learn Photoshop from the beginning and if you never opened Photoshop before but you plan to learn graphics design, then this is a perfect course for you. Because we designed this course from beginner to intermediate level, so if you don't have any previous experience, in that case you can also join in this course because we are going to cover every basic things from the very beginning. So let's take a look what you will learn from this course. You will learn about the tools and function, as well as we will be introduced with the interface of Photoshop. You will learn about the layers, you will learn about the levels for adjustments of image, you will learn about the colors, you will learn about the vibrance, hue and saturation, you will learn about the adjustment tools. And this lesson is really important because most of the adjustment tools are covered in this lesson, and if you know and if you plan to edit all the basic things, in that case adjustment tools are essential, and we covered all these adjustment tools in lesson. We will also learn about the gradient, you will learn about the stroke, you will learn about the bevel and emboss for stylize your text. You will learn about the content hour, and it's called a magical tool for adjustment and cropping. You will learn about the blur filters like image blur, background blur, motion blur, and there are lots of blurs are available. You will also learn about the image retouch, and there are many more lessons are available for learning. So I have given an exercise file for learning, and during learning it will help you to make practice along with me. And during learning, if you face any problem, in that case you can knock me so I can help you for your issues. So if you intend to learn Photoshop from the beginning, in that case don't hesitate and you can join in our Photoshop class. So I am expecting you to have you in my next lesson. Welcome to first chapter of learning Adobe Photoshop. So in this chapter we will learn how you will have the software for using Adobe Photoshop on your computer. So you can see in my screen that I have opened a website in my browser, and the name of the website or web URL is www.adobe.com. Actually, Photoshop is a graphics design software, and this Adobe Photoshop software is an asset of Adobe. Therefore, you have to get the Photoshop software from adobe.com and its official website. If you want to use the official licensed version on your computer, in that case you may have to pay the monthly subscription fee, or instead of paying the monthly subscription fee you can have a free trial. So let me show you how you will get this. You can see here that in Adobe website you have this creativity and design menu, and if you click in there at second row you will have the featured products menu, and from there you will have this Photoshop software. So let me click in this Photoshop menu, and then it will redirect you to another page, and you can see here that everyone can Photoshop. So for having the free trial, you just have to click this free trial option. Then a pop-up will appear, and here is the pricing. So you can use 70 free, then you have to pay the monthly fees. So the monthly fees is $21. Actually it's $20.99 per month. You can consider $21. But if you want to use some more software like Illustrator, Adobe Express, Adobe Premiere Pro and Acrobat along with Adobe Photoshop, in that case you can purchase this Creative Cloud All Apps package, and you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 software, and you just have to pay $55 per month. So you will have the same 7 days free trial for Creative Cloud all apps. So depend on your need. If you want to use multiple software, then you can use these Creative Cloud apps, or if you just need the Adobe Photoshop, then you can just use this only Photoshop option. So you have to select which things you gonna apply. So once it's done, you have to click this continue. Then it will ask you for the sign up process or sign in process. So you have to put your email address, then it will ask you for some billing information. So this is the way you will have the Adobe Photoshop software from official website. And there are lots of crack or pre-activated Adobe Photoshop software available on the internet, but I don't suggest you to use that crack or pre-activated software, because there could be some malware or spyware or some kind of a harmful content could be on their own crack version. So the best way to get the Adobe Photoshop software from official Adobe website. Ladies and gentlemen, in this chapter we are going to learn about the interface and the tools in Adobe Photoshop. So this is going to be a long lesson. Hold tight and let's start. So when you will run the latest version of Photoshop, you will have the opening interface like my screen. So when you need to start using Adobe Photoshop, you have to create a document, and in your opening interface for creating a document, you just have to click this create new option, or you can go for the file menu and from there you can use this new option. So this new option and this create new option are the similar. So I am going to click this create new option, then you will have a pop-up. So you can see here that we have some tabs in this pop-up like recent, saved, photo, print, art and illustration, web, mobile, and film and video. So in the recent tab, all the tabs will available in here that already used on your Photoshop, and the saved, you will have the presets that you saved on your Photoshop. But if you were looking to have a default document for starting using, in that case you have to start from the photo option. So let me click in this photo tab, and then you will have some presets. So you can see here the default Photoshop size is the name of a preset, and the height and width is 7 by 5 inches of the canvas document size. So you can see here we have some more presets like landscape, 3 by 2 landscape, 6 by 4, and many more presets are available. So depend on your needs, you can pick any preset that you are looking for. So this photo tab are specially designed for editing photos. It could be your DSLR photos, it could be your phone photos. The next tab is for print. So if you need to design any letter or any legal paper or some kind of tabloid or A4 size papers, in that case you can use this print tab for having the default presets for print. So as a letter, you can see here we have some letter preset, and the size is 8.5 by 11 inches. So this is the letter preset, this is the legal papers presets, this is the tabloid presets, and there are many more presets are available. So for art and illustration, if you need to create some kind of poster or postcard, in that case you can use this poster or postcard presets. So you have to follow one things right now. So you can see here that for the poster, it's size 18 by 24 inches. This IN stands for inches. But if you focus on here, the 1080p, that means it's size for 1920 by 1080 px for pixel. So IN stands for inches and px stands for pixel. So you need to determine what will be your document size. Do you want to work in pixel or do you want to work in inches? You have to determine yourself first. Then you can pick the preset, or you can manually put the values for picking your starting document, and I'm going to show you how you will do that. Then the next tab is web. If you were looking to design some elements for web design or for the relevant websites, in that case you can pick the web tabs. So what type of web content you are going to design, we have the presets in here, like web most common, web large, web medium, and web minimum. So this is the most common size for picking up the web document, like 1366 by 766 pixel, and for the large you have to pick the 1920 by 1080 pixel. So for the mobile you have to pick what type of mobiles size you are going to use. Suppose you are going to use the iPhone X, in that case here is the presets. If you are going to use some Microsoft Surface Pro, here is the presets. If you're going to use some design for Apple Watch, here is the presets. So depend on your needs, you can pick any presets for mobile creating document. The final tab is for film and videos. So in film and video tab, you can see here we have different type of presets. Suppose you used a video in 4K resolution and you want to design the thumbnail for the video. In that case, what you will do, you can use this 4K presets, and you can see here that 4096 by 1160 pixel. Okay, so as well as if we were looking to design any image for HDTV, in that case you can use this HDTV 1080 pixel preset. And if you are looking to design an image for DVC Pro HD 720 pixel, here is the presets. So there are different type of presets are available in here. Okay, so we just found the presets in here, but what you will do if you need any custom document to create, let me show you how we will create a custom document. You can just go to the recent tab, or from there you can work with this right side. At first you have to name the name of your document, you have to put the name. So in here you can see that it's by default it's named your untitled one. So instead of untitled one, you can put any name. So as an example, you can type test 1. Then you have to decide what will be your width and what will be your height. This is the value. So before selecting width and height, you need to determine in which format you will work. Will you work in inches or will you work in pixels or centimeters? So for determining the parameter, you have to click this inches option. It could be in pixels, in centimeters, millimeters, points, and picas. So basically the things is widely using that's in pixel. Actually, these pixels and inches are most popular format for working in Adobe Photoshop. So if you consider the inches, in that case you have to know the inches your desired document, and if you know the pixels, you can pick the pixels. So I'm going to show you with the use of pixels. So you can see here Right now 2100 pixels are placed for width and 1500 are placed for height. So if you need to put any manual value like 1080 pixel will be for width, and for height it will be for 720 pixel. Okay, so we got how it will put the width and height. Then we have to come through the orientation. In orientation, you have to consider that what will be your orientation of the document. Will it be portrait or will it be landscape? So if you need portrait, you can pick this first one, and if you need the landscape, you can pick this second one. So depend on your needs, you can pick the orientation in here. Then the next part is resolution. What will be your resolution? You have to declare, or you have to put the value of your resolution in here. If you need the maximum resolution, in that case you can use this 300 pixel per inches for resolution. But if you need some low quality or low resolution, in that case you can put some kind of 72 pixel per inches for resolution. But I think you should go with 300 pixel per inches for resolution. Then type is color mode. So what will be your color mode? Will it be RGB? That means RGB stands for red, green and blue, or will it be CMYK? Let me show you. So you can see here that once you will click in here, different type of color mode will be available. So RGB color and CMYK color are one of the most popular color mode in Adobe Photoshop. That's why I was mentioning about the CMYK. So in RGB, this is the default, and RGB means red, green and blue color mode. So you can put this RGB color, but if you want to work with the bitmap color mode as well as the grayscale or a lab color, in that case you can pick any color mode from here. But basically RGB color and CMYK color are widely using, therefore I'm keeping this RGB color. And by default there are different type of bits are available, like 8 bits, 16 bit and 32 bits. So for RGB color 8 bit is enough, and if you want to work with more, in that case you can pick the 16 bit, and for the higher you can pick the 32 bits. Okay, the next thing is background contents. So in background contents, you can determine or you can declare what will be your background content color. Will it be white color, or will it be black color, or will it be background color or transparent color? Let me explain you how these four things are working. So if you need just a blank canvas with white background color, in that case you just have to pick this white. If you need a blank canvas but the canvas color or the document color will be black, in that case you have to pick this black. So instead of white or black, if you need any background color or some kind of other color, in that case you can use this background color. And if you don't need any color for your document, in that case you can use this transparent background content. So when you will use this transparent background content, you will have no color on your document background, and you can, whatever you will create on the transparent background, only the created things will be appeared, no background will be appeared. And this is one of the greatest background content mode in Adobe Photoshop for creating backgroundless content or image or icons. Okay, so I'm going to click create for creating the document in this custom test1 name, and I'm going to click create. So welcome to our first document. You can see here that we have created our first document, and you can see here the name test1 I just written while I was creating the custom document. And in properties in right side, you can see here for width we got 1080 pixel, and for height we got the 720 pixel, and we use landscape for orientation. Okay, So now time for getting introducement with all the functions and things. So let's start from the right side. In right side, you may have the color panel, and along with color panel you will have this swatches panel, you will have this gradients panel, you will have this patterns panel. So all these things we will learn when we will apply the real-time projects or real-time images. So for changing any brush color or for changing any background color, you can pick these color tabs. The second one is properties. So what will be the properties, or what is the properties of your contents, the document or image or any other elements that will be available in here. And after the properties, you will have this adjustments tabs, and this is really important. And for customizing an image, you have to work with these adjustments tabs, because there are lots of tools are available for making the adjustment of an image. And finally, it's the library tab. So if you have the Adobe library, in that case you can pick all the Adobe elements, or you just saved on your library, you will have in here. And the next things is the layer panel. This is really important. So what you will create, what you will work in Photoshop, every task will be counted as your layer. When you will create another document, inside this document another layer will be created. When you will draw a circle shape or a rectangle shape or some kind of text or some kind of icons or whatever you are going to do, all the layers will be created, and with the separate element you can work separately through the layers. And this is our layer panel, and inside the layer panel there are lots of functions are available, like effects tool, and then adding mask tool, folder tool, new tool, delete tool. Many tools are available and we are going to learn about it. Okay, so at left side you can see here we have the toolbar. This is the main toolbar of Adobe Photoshop, and at left top you have the menu bar, like file menu, edit, image, layer, type, select, filter, 3D, view, window helps. So let me start with the menu first. So in file menu you will have different types of options, like for creating the new document, opening some previous files or new files, for closing your present document or closing all the document that you opened, how it will export, how it will import, and how it will add some more images, how it will embed the other contents. All these things you will have inside the file menu, as well as if you have the printer and if you want to print your created design through the printer, in that case you can use this file menu. And in edit menu we will have all this cut, copy, paste, undo, redo, and like other fields option, content hour option, stroke option, as well as the toolbars and the preferences. All these things you will have under this edit tab. In image tab or image menu you will have the option for set up the adjustment of the image, like what will be your image size, what will be your canvas size, if you want to rotate your image in 90 degree or 180 degree. All these things you can do in here. Then you will have the layer menu. So what will be your layer? Will you need to create a new layer, or if you need to merge a layer, if you need to duplicate a layer, or if you need to convert any layer to a smart object? All these functions you will have under this layer menu. Then for the type, in this menu you will have like anti-alias, you will have the extrude to 3D, you will have the vertex, you will have the match fonts, and many other functions are available. Actually I'm just going thoroughly in here because every function have a different uses, and we will learn all these uses while we will work in Photoshop with real images, and then you have to use all these functions from this menu, and from there you will have this select menu. So if you need to select any things like any specific object or subject or some focus area or some color range or some skies, you can use this select menu. So for selecting and deselecting, you can use this select menu. And the next menu is for filters, and this is really awesome. So if you need to apply filter to your image, so some kind of blur filter, lens filter, even the background removal filter, background blur filter, sharpen filter, render filter, stylized filter, you will have all these things. As well as if you want to use some kind of liquify filter, you can use this filter menu, and this menu is really will help you to create more active image in Adobe Photoshop. The next part is 3D. If you need to implement some kind of 3D files, in that case you can use this 3D option. For creating 3D image or text or 3D design, you can use this 3D menu. But remember one thing, so when you will use this 3D menu, your computer should be with high configuration, because when you will start using this 3D, it will consume RAM or processor from your computer. So for using 3D, I will suggest you to get a good configuration PC. And the next one is view. So with the view menu, you will be able to zoom in and zoom out your screen, as like you can use the grid view, you can use the smart guide, you can use the layer guide. So all these things you will have in here. And finally, in window, what will be your windows, you can use it from here. So what will be your workspace, what will be your opening interface, what will be your presets, all these things you can work in here. Even if you want to reset all these things, you will be able to do this from this Windows menu. And if you need any help, in that case you can use this help menu. And it's better if you sign in to your Creative Cloud. In that case you will be get lots of help from the library of Creative Clouds. So this is all the uses of menus from here. And now the most important part, that is tools. Actually, Photoshop software is a tool-based software. So whatever you are going to create a design inside the Photoshop, you have to use tools a lot. Let me show you how it will work. So let's start with the first one. It's called the Move tool. And using of Move tool, this is using for moving any image or any object from left to right, from top to bottom, or from right to left. If you want to move anything else, in that case you have to use this Move tool. Let me show you how you will do this. I have given an exercise file to you along with this class, and from the exercise file I'm going to add an image for showing you how this Move tool is working. And therefore I'm going to use this file menu, and from there I'm going to click this place embed option. So in here you need to know two things: the difference between open and the difference between place embed option. When you will click open, and when you will open any image from your computer, in that case that image will be opened in a new tab in here. You can see here right now we have test 1 tab. This is a single document and we have the tab for our document. But when you will open any other image from the file menu, and here is the open option, in that case that image will be opened in a new tab. But I don't want to do that. I want to add the image in my present tab. And for adding any image or any object or any elements in the present tab, you can use this file and place embed option. This is really important. So now you know the difference between open and place embed option. So I'm clicking this place embed and then a pop-up will appear. So as I was saying, here is the pop-up. So from here, I want to use this change specific color image. So I'm just selecting this change specific color and then I'm going to click place. Okay, you can see here right now that we have the image placed in here, but it's not properly placed in here because it's in transform mode. So you have to commit the perform. So for commit the transform, you have to click this tick mark from here, or you can just directly hit the enter button from your keyboard as well. So let me click this commit transform option and now it's placed. So as I added this image for showing you the use of move tool, that's why you need to know how these things are working. So you can see here at top I have some white space. I want to move this image at top and I want to cover the blank space at top. Therefore you have to press first at the left button of your keyboard and you have to hold and then you have to move at top. This is only possible when you will work this move tool. And now if you want to move this image at bottom, then you have to do the same process. You have to press the left button, then you have to move your mouse at the bottom, then the image will move at bottom. So this is the use of move tool. Okay, the next tool is rectangular mark with tool. Okay, so this is the rectangular mark with tool. If you need to make any selection, in that case you can use this rectangular mark with tool. Suppose you need to cut or copy something from this image, like you need to copy this image and therefore you need to make a selection. Then what you will do, you have to make a selection by pressing left button of mouse and then you have to select the area for selection. So you can see here that I make a selection for this flowers area, and now you can copy these things, now you can cut these things, or now you can delete these things. Whatever you are going to do, you can do these things. So basically this rectangular mark with tool are using for making the selection. So instead of square, if you need any round shape, how you can do that? You just have to right click with your mouse in this rectangular mark with tool, then you will have this elliptical mark with tool, and this elliptical mark with tool will give you the circle shape. So I hope you got the idea for selection. The next tool is lasso tool. You can see here the third tool called lasso tool. So with rectangular mark with tool, you were able to select directly square shape, and in elliptical tool you were able to making the round circle. But what you will do if you need to make any point to point selection, therefore you can use this lasso tool. So if you want to make a perfect selection for this flower, in that case you can use this one. Let me show you. You have to press and then you have to drag, or you have to move your mouse cursor where you want to make the selection. So you can see here I made a selection. So for instead of just round selection or just for rectangular selection, if you need any custom selection, in that case you can use this one. So with this lasso tool you will be able to make the selection in this way. Okay, I hope you got the idea for the use of this lasso tool. Inside this lasso tool, there are some more tools are available, like polygonal lasso tool and magnetic lasso tool. Let me show you the use of polygonal lasso tool. If you need to draw any angle line or in a direct straight line, in that case you can use this polygonal lasso tool. So polygonal lasso tool will give you this direct straight lines. It could be in angle or it could be in straight at the top or in bottom. So whatever you need, you can use this polygonal lasso tool for selecting in a straight way. So you can see here I made a line in there, in here, and in here. So what I did, I just made a selection. And if you need to make a selection in angle, in that case you can make the selection in this way. So I hope you got the idea how these polygonal lasso tools are working. The next one is magnetic lasso tool. This magnetic lasso tool have benefits. It will automatically make some selection. You don't need to click again and again like lasso tool. Suppose you need to make a selection for this flower. So you just have to place your mouse at the starting point and then you have to move the mouse. You don't need to click again and again. You can see here I am just moving my mouse cursor to the flower and it's making the automatic selection. You don't need to click again, and in this way you can make a perfect selection. So this is how the magnetic lasso tools are working in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, the next tool says object selection tool. So you can see here it's called object selection tool, and with the use of object selection tool it will make your task easier for making the selection. So if you need to select any object, in that case you can directly just use this one. Let me show you how these things are work. So this basically work with the square shape as well. So you need to select the area first where you want to make the selection, and inside your selection if there are any object it will make the selection automatically, but you will not have the accurate selection in here, but it will give you the maximum percentage of selection. So you can see here that we got the perfect selection in here as well, but it's not called the perfect because we didn't got the perfect selection. That's why I was saying that you will not have the 100% selection with the object selection tool, but it will make your task easier. Okay, the next one is quick selection tool. Okay, so with the quick selection tool you will be able to make a selection for any specific area. So as an example, if you need to make a selection for this area, for this grasses, you can make the selection. Let me show you how these things are working. So you can see here with the quick selection tool I just make a selection for this grasses. Let me make selection for this one. Okay, so now you can see that quick selection tools are working in this way. And now most interesting things is called magic wand tool. You just have to right click with your mouse and then you will have this magic wand tool. So magic wand tool give you a long area for making the selection. Suppose you need to select this dark area in this image. So what you have to do, you just have to click once in here. Then you will have the selection, the areas. Suppose you need to make a selection for this red part only. In that case, you just have to click once in here. You will have the selection in here. If you need to make a selection for this specific part, you will have this selection in this way. Let me show you some more selections, more selections, more selections. Okay, so if you need to make a selection in a large scale, in that case, you can use this magic wand tool. Okay, the next one is crop tool. You can see here is called crop tool. So if you need to crop any image or any selection, then you can use this crop tool. You can see here that I have a selection in here, but now if I use the crop tool now, in that case I will only be able to crop in this selected part. But instead of this specific selection, if you need to crop the entire image, in that case you should make sure that there is no selection inside the image. So you can see here I have a selection, so I need to deselect it, and therefore I have to go for this select, and from there I have to go for this deselect option. Okay, so right now I don't have any selection, and now I want to crop this image and I want to make this image smaller. Therefore I'm going to click this crop tool. Then you can see here I got the pointer at the top left or top right, at the left side, at right side, at bottom, at left bottom, and in right bottom. So with this pointer you have to select the area till how long or how short, or till how, I mean, you need to set the length of your cropping. Suppose I don't need to keep this white space in here, therefore I want to remove the top part. So you can see here I just make the selection for the removing or for the cropping the top part. That means I don't want to keep the top part. So once it's done, you can press the enter button from your keyboard, or you can just click in this tick mark for commit transform. So let me click in this tick mark, and you can see the result. I don't have any more white space or extra space in this image. So I hope you got the idea how these crop tools are working. Okay. The next tool is frame tool. You can see here this called the frame tool. So with the use of frame tool, you can make any specific frame. Suppose you don't need to keep all these images. You want to make a frame from this image with the specific area. How you will do that? You can use this frame tool. So as an example, let me select this flower part only, and I'm releasing my mouse, and you can see here that we got the frame. So the specific area we just made the selection with the frame tool, we only got the area and we got the frame, and the rest of the part is not available in here. So this is the use of frame tool for Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so I need my entire images, that's why I'm going to click this edit menu, and from there I'm going to click this undo new frame option, so that we will have the previous image. So if you need to get any previous situation or previous operation, in that case you can use this undo option. This undo and redo will help you to get your previous image. And after undo, if you want to get the former situation, in that case you can use this redo option. So let me click this undo new frame, so I have all this image as like before. And if you want to get back to your previous frame position or frame situation, you just have to click and redo new frame option. So here is the output, and let me click undo new frame once again. So I hope you have the idea about the use of undo and redo. Okay, the next tool is eyedropper tool. So you can see here it's called the eyedropper. This eyedropper can detect any color from any image, and this is really helpful. Suppose you need to find out a specific color. So you can see here we have different type of green color in here. So if you need to draw some lines, or if you need to use some brushes, in that case, if you need the actual color that are used in some specific area, and for identifying the exact color, eyedropper will help you a lot. So suppose you need to find out the specific color for this right side grass. So you just have to place the mouse cursor in here and please focus in our color panel. This is our color panel. So once I'm placing my eyedropper in here and I'm clicking, so this is the exact color that is used in here. So for red, I'm going to click in here. This specific color is used in here. For yellow, this is the specific color that is used in here. And if you need to find out any more specific part like this crosses. Okay, so I hope you got the idea how this eyedropper is working in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, the next tool is spot healing brush tool. This is the spot healing brush tool, but right now I am going to skip some tools because this spot healing brush tools is not a small thing. So we have to learn this spot healing brush tools with a single separate lesson. And but in summary, I can tell you with the use of spot healing brush tool is just a kind of making your perfect image. And if you need to remove some spots from the image, in that case you can use this spot healing brush tool. Okay, so as I was saying that I will skip some tools in here right now because I have to create a different lesson for these tools because these tools have a wide level of using. Okay, the next tools is about brush tool. So you can see here that brush tool in here. If you need to draw any line in this image, in that case you have to use the brush tool. But right now you won't be able to draw any line in here, and you can see in our mouse cursor it seems it's locked. Do you know why it's locked? Because this image is non-rasterized. You have to rasterize for applying the brush or for drawing some lines in this image. So how you will rasterize or unlock the image? You can see here inside our layer panel we have some icon in here in our image. That means this image is a smart object. And smart objects are considered when number of multiple elements are converted in a single layer or in a single image, then it's considered as a smart object. Therefore, you need to rasterize the layer. And you know how to do that? Do you know? If you don't know, don't worry. Let me show you how you will rasterize this layer. For rasterizing the layer, you just have to right click with your mouse in this layer name. You can see here that is our layer name. So you need to right click with your mouse in the layer name. Then you will have this rasterize layer option. So let me click in this rasterize layer option. Now you can see that another or extra icon was removed from here. That means now you will be capable to draw any line in here. And you can see here our unlock mouse cursor is just changed, and now you will be able to draw something else. So you can see here I am able to draw right now in my screen or in my image. So if you need to change your color, you can change it very easily. Here is the color option, or you can directly just click in here this option, then the color picker will be available, or you can just use this color tab. Okay, so if you need to choose any specific color like this orange color, you can pick here and you can draw something else. Okay, so this is the use of brush in Adobe Photoshop. The next two things like this clone stamp tool and this history brush tool, these two things I'm going to skip right now because as I was saying that I have to take some specific lesson for these tools. Okay, the next one is eraser tools. If you need to erase any specific area, in that case you can use this eraser tool. Suppose you need to erase this this part. In that case, when you will use your mouse and when you will start erasing, it will be erased. So what you set up for creating the document, that will be visible to your image, because we used white background for creating the document. That's why when I am erasing the image, that white background is appeared in here. Okay, the next one is the gradient tool, and I'm going to show you this gradient tool in another lesson, because this gradient have a different uses. So therefore I'm going to show you the gradient tools in different lessons. Okay, the next one is the blur tool. If you need to make any specific area make blur, in that case you can use this blur tool, and with the use of this blur tool you will be able to make the image or specific part blur. And you can see here you have different type of settings for making the image blur, and you can set up the strength of your brush. So as an example, let me make blur this area. So you can see here I just drawn the line in here, and a small blur effect is applied, and it's have lots of uses. And if you increase the strength in here, instead of 50%, if you increase around 87%, then you will have more active blur in here. Okay, so I hope you got the idea how these blur tools are working in Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so next two tools is dot tool and pen tool. So these two tools I'm going to skip right now, because there are lots of uses for dot tool, and this dot tool and other tools like burn tool, sponge tool. These tools are widely using for a retouching of image. Therefore you need to know, or you need to learn properly the use of these dot tools. And for pen tools, this is also working for making the selection, and I will show you in another lesson about the use of pen tools for making any shape or for making any selection. Actually, when you will make a selection, you will be able to create a shape with that selection. That's why every selection can make a shape. The next one is the horizontal type tool. So when you need to type any text on your image or in document, in that case you have to use the horizontal type tool. Let me show you how this tools is working. So when you will click in this horizontal type tool, you will have different type of option like horizontal type tool, vertical type tool, vertical type mask tool, horizontal type mask tool. But basically horizontal type tool is working widely. So for typing some text, you just have to select this horizontal type tool, and then you have to click somewhere in your image, then a dummy text will be appeared. And as an example, I'm going to write Ben. So you can see here that I have written the name in here. So here is all the settings for changing the text format, like a font, like size, like sharpness, like alignment, color, and many more things. So once your writing is done, don't forget to click this tick mark. Otherwise, you will not be able to work properly with the other tools when you will working with the horizontal type tool. So let me click in here. So you can see here we got our text, and the text we got by using of a horizontal type tool. Okay, the next tools is about path selection tool. So I'm going to take a different lesson for it. And now I'm going to use this rectangle tool. So if you need to draw any shape on Photoshop, in that case you can use this rectangle tools. If you need to draw a square, in that case you can use this rectangle tool. And when you will use this rectangle tool, you will be able to draw a shape. So you can see here I just drawn a rectangle shape, and you can see here we got the settings, or we got the properties for changing the color, for changing the height, width, like strokes and the round corners and the stroke levels. Everything you will be able to work with the properties. So you can see here I just drawn him rectangle shape, and the fill color of the shape is orange. And instead of orange, if you want to change, you just have to click this fill option. Then you will have different type of option. Likewise, the color picker, you can pick any color from here, you can pick any image from here, or if you know the specific code of any color, you can just paste in here. If you search on Google, you will have lots of color codes. So if you know any specific color code, instead of searching in here, you directly can paste in here. So let me pick this yellow, this blue color. Let me click OK, and you can see here that we got the blue color for our shape. So if you need a round shape or ellipse shape, you just have to right click with your mouse, then you will be able to get the ellipse tool, and with the ellipse tool you will be able to draw a round shape. And if you need rounded rectangle tools, you can use just this rounded rectangle tools. And you can see here that these rectangle tools have a round corner. You can also make this first rectangle shape, you can also make this shape in shape's corner rounded, and I'm going to show you in another lesson how you will make the rounded corner for a rectangle shape. Okay, then if you need a triangle shape, you can use this triangle tool. So let me draw a triangle. Okay, you can see here I just created a triangle shape using a triangle tool. So once you're done for creating a shape, you just have to hit the enter button from your keyboard, and you can see here I just used a triangle shape for a triangle tool for creating a triangle shape, and here I got the triangle layer. I have created a rounded rectangle shape, and I got the rounded rectangle layer. I have created a circle or ellipse shape. I got the ellipse layer. So when you will click these layers, all the things will be selected. So at first what I have created a rectangle shape, and here is the rectangle layer is created, and you can see here that the rectangle shape is just selected. Okay, so there are many more tools are available like polygon, line tool, and if you need any custom shape, Photoshop provides you some custom shapes. And if you need custom shapes, like if you need to draw a butterfly, if you need to draw some leaves, if you need to draw some boats or trees, you can use this custom shape tool. Then you will have this shape option in Photoshop, and you can see here you will have this option, and then you have to find out the shapes that you want to take it from here. So as an example, I'm going to pick some leaves tree, and I'm selecting this one, and once you will select, you will be able to draw a custom shape of tree. So you can see here, so you can see I just drawn a tree shape, and the fill color of my tree is yellow, but instead of yellow you can just change the color. As an example, I'm picking this yellow color. So once it's done, you just have to hit the enter button from your keyboard, and you can see here I just drawn a tree in here by using of custom shape tool. And if you need to add some more shapes, I will show you in our another lesson how you will add custom shapes to your Adobe Photoshop software. The next one is the hand tool. So if you have a large size image and if you need to move the image at right or left, then these hand tools are workable. But this hand tool is not workable right now because we got the smaller size of image. That's why it will not be workable in here. But if you have the large size of image, then you will be able to use this hand tool. And the final tool is zoom tool. So if you need to zoom in or if you need to image bigger for view, in that case you can use this zoom tool. So you can see here I am zoom in that image and I just make the bigger. And if you need to zoom out, you can just go to view menu and from there you can use this zoom out option. And every function of Photoshop have the shortcut key. So if you are using Windows, you have your shortcut key in here, and if you using Mac, you will also have the shortcut key in here. So depend on your operating system that you are using, you have to use the shortcut key is given on your Photoshop software. So for zoom in, you can press Ctrl and plus button, and for zoom out you can press Ctrl and minus button. Let me press Ctrl and minus button in here, so I have zoom out in here. So my dear students and ladies and gentlemen, I hope we got our introducement with the interface, with the menus and with the tools. So it's all the basics introducements with the interfaces, with the menus, with the tools. But we will learn in more details when we will use these tools in real-time image. So I hope you have now all the idea how these tools are working and which tools is working for which purpose. Now you know it very well. So it seems it's a long lesson, so I'm going to end up the introducement lesson and I am going to show you in our next chapter. Till then, take care. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this lesson or chapter, and we're going to learn about the layers in this chapter. And when you will work in Photoshop, you must have to use layers a lot. Therefore, you need to know what is layers and how these layers are working. So I'm going to tell you all these things about the layers in this lesson. So let's start the learning about the layers. So at first, whatever I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new document, and you know how to create. This is the create new option, or here is the file menu and here is the new option. The same things are working, these functions. And now I'm going to pick this default Photoshop size, and you know the width is 7 inches, the height is 5 inches, and the orientation is landscape, and I'm going to keep the background color as the white. So let me click create. So this is our default Photoshop document size, and here we go. So at right side you can see here that we got our background layer. Actually this is a lesson about layers. So all the layers will be placed inside this layer panel. So you can see here, this is our layer panels, and for creating our first document, we got the layer in here. Okay, so you can see the name of the layer is background layer and it's locked right now. So you need to know how to unlock and how to lock. So for unlock, you just have to click this lock icon, then it will be unlocked. But remember one thing, so when the layer is locked, you won't be able to do anything with the layers. Therefore, at first you need to unlock these things. So there are two ways for unlocking the layer. You just have to click this unlock icon, or you can just rename this layer name. The both works for unlocking. So as an example, I'm going to click this lock icon, and you can see here it's unlocked right now. Okay, so for applying layers, I'm going to add an image to this document, and you know how to add or how to place an image directly to this document, because our document name is untitled 1, and I'm going to place an image in here instead of opening a new tab. Therefore, I'm going to click this file menu, and from there I'm going to pick this place embedded option. And here is our exercise file, and I hope you already downloaded the exercise file from the resource section. So I'm going to pick this one Binghua Unsplash image. So I'm going to pick this one, and I have taken all these images from unsplash.com, and unsplash.com is one of the greatest website for providing the royalty-free images. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to click place. Okay, so you can see here the image is placed in here, but I need to scale this image properly, because you can see at right side and left side I have some blank spaces. So I want to put my mouse cursor at the left side middle pointer, but you can see when I just pull that left, it's also increased at top as well as bottom, but I don't want that. Even when you will pull this right side pointer for masking or for covering the white space, it will increase more. Let me show you. You can see it's have some more spaces, and it's gone outside of the document, but I don't want it. I want exact or proper scaling with the document. Therefore, you have to unlink height and width. You can see here is an option for linking and unlinking. Till now it's linked. That's why when you will pull these things at right, the entire image size will be increased, because height and width are linked together right now. So therefore you have to unlink. So you just have to click ons, and now if you move any pointer at left side or right side, you can see here it's not increasing at top anymore. Even you can make the proper scaling with these things. Therefore, for making proper scale, you just have to unlink the height and width. So now you can see I got proper scale of the image with my document size. So once it's done, you just have to press the enter button from your keyboard, or you can just click this tick mark. Okay, you can see right now that I have the layer in here, and this is my layer. Okay, but if you follow properly in this layer, you can have an icon in here, and it's called a smart object option. That means now if you want to draw any line through the brushes, and if you want to edit these layers, you won't be able, because it's a smart object. Therefore, in our last lesson, you just seen you won't be able to apply any brushes in here. Like this is our brush tool, but I'm not able to draw anything else. Therefore, what I have to do, I have to rasterize the layer first. And you know how to rasterize the layer? You just have to right click with your mouse, and here is the rasterize layer option. And you can see right now that the smart object icon is just removed. And now my brush icon is active, and you can see here right now I can draw these things, and you already learned these things in our last lesson. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you will duplicate the layer. And for duplicating layer, I want to show you another things that is visible and invisible. You can see here there is an eye icon in here. When it will be in here, that means your layer is turned on and it will be visible to your document. But if you want to make invisible, in that case you just have to click in this eye icon. Then your layer will remain in here, but it won't be workable and it not be visible to your main document. And if you want to turn it on, in that case you just have to click in this tick mark, or you have to turn on the eye, then your layer will get back. Okay, so now I want to duplicate the layer. For duplicating layer, you just have to right click in this layer, but remember one thing, where you will place your mouse cursor. If you place your mouse cursor in this image thumbnail, then you will have different option, and if you right click with your mouse in the text part or in the text, then you will have this option. So make sure you are going to click with your mouse in this text part only. Okay, then you will have this duplicate layer option. So let me click this duplicate layer, and then you can type the name of the layer in which name you want to create the new layers. As an example, I'm going to type tone, and now you can see that I have a new layer, and these two layers are similar, but the new layer I renamed as the tone. But now if you turn off the tone layer, you still have the image or same image in here. Let me turn it off. You can see here that I just turned on, but it's now still available. Do you know why? Because our main layer is still visible. So let me turn it off. Then you will have the background layer. And now if you turn the tone layer, in that case only this layer is visible right now, but not this Wang Binghua Unsplash this layer. So I hope you got the idea which layer you turned on that will be available in your screen, and you have to follow the orders, and I'm going to show you the orders after some times how the orders are working. So what I create a tone layer. So I need to create two more layer, and I want to duplicate the two more layer from here. And for duplicating, you just have to follow the same process. Right click, duplicate layer, and here I am going to type contrast, and I'm clicking OK. And you can see that contrast layer also created. So I need to create one last layer for the same image, because I'm going to apply three different things in three layers. That's why I'm creating three different layers. Okay, so let's click on another layer, and I'm going to type this layer name as a color. And I'm clicking OK. So we got three different layers in here: color, contrast, and tone. Okay, so now if you want to delete this layer, in that case how it will delete, let me show you. So this layer is not necessary right now, because from this main layer we have created same three layer but in different name. That's why I can delete this layer right now. So for deleting, you just have to click in this layer, you have to make a selection, or you just have to select, and here is the option for delete. So you just have to click this delete layer. It will ask you for confirmation, and if you don't need to show these things again and again, in that case you can click don't show again. So I'm clicking yes, and now you can see that we have deleted that layer. Okay, fine. So now I'm going to apply the auto color for this color layer. So therefore make sure that you have selected this color layer, and then you have to click this image menu, and from there you will have this auto color option. And you can see here, once I applied the auto color, the impact is just changed. So if you want to compare after applying the auto color for this image, what the difference between before and after. So we applied auto color option for this color layer. That's why that things is only applicable to this layer. But that auto color is not applied for contrast layer as well as for the tone layer. So if you want to have a look the difference between before and after, you just have to turn off the color layer, then you will have the previous image, because the color layer is not active right now. Therefore we have the preview this contrast layer right now, and if you want to get it back, you just have to click or turn it on in here. Then you will have the auto color that's applied to this image that will be present in here. Now let me turn off the color layer, and I'm going to select this contrast layer, and I'm going to apply the auto contrast for this image. And make sure that you have selected the contrast layer, and I'm going to click this image menu, and from there I'm going to click this auto contrast. So you can see here that the auto contrast is applied in here. So if you want to compare between before and after, then you have to turn off the contrast layer. Then you will have the preview of tone layer. You can see that only tone layer is present in here. Let me maximize, or let me increase the layer panel size. Then we will have the proper view. Okay, so I turned off the color layer as well as the contrast layer. And now if you turn on the color layer, in that case you will have the preview of your color layer right now, because these layers are working with orders. The top layer always present or always visible in front of you. Therefore, what layer you are going to place at top, and if it's turned on, in that case you will have the preview of the top layer. So let me turn it off, and now I'm going to apply auto tone for this tone layer. Therefore you have to make sure that layer is turned on and that tone layer is selected. Then I have to click image menu, and from there I have to click for auto tone. So now you can see that auto tone is applied to this image. Now let me turn on all the layers, and now you can see all the layers is turned on, but only we have the preview for the top layers. So I hope you got the idea how you will apply different effect to the different layers. Now I am going to show you how you will select the orders. I'm going to take this horizontal type tool, and I am going to type a text in here. So as an example, let me type Ben, and let me click, or let me press Ctrl and Enter button for commit transform, or instead of that you can click this tick mark. Okay, you can see I have written Ben. Let me increase this text, and therefore what you have to do, you have to click this move tool, you have to select this one, and you have to click edit menu, from there transform option, and you will have the scale option from here. I want to increase the size of the text. When you will click scale, it will give you 9 pointers, so you have to click all these pointers. Okay, cool. And once it's done, you can press the Enter button, or you can click to this tick mark. Okay, So here is our text, but you can see this text is visible right now because the bin or this text layer placed at top. But if you move this layer at second or in third position or in third order, in that case you will not be able to visible these things in main document. Let me show you how you will move these things. You just have to press your mouse left button and you have to drag to the third or second position. So what I did, I placed this text layer at third position and it's gone. Actually, it's not gone. It's present in here, but it's not visible. So if you turn off first two layers, then you will have the visibility of your text in here. So I hope you have the idea right now how the orders are working. First two layer is turned off, that's why it's visible. But if you turn on the second layer or the first layer, then you will not have the visibility of your text in your document. But if you take this text layer at top, then you will have the visibility of your text in here. So this is how the orders are working in Adobe Photoshop. So remember one thing, when you will place the layer at top, that will get the maximum priority for visibility. Okay, so if you want to merge this two layer at once, how it will do that? That means this text layer will be merged with the color layer, and that's why you have to select this two layer, the first one as well as the second one. And for selecting the second one, you have to press Control button from your keyboard, and then you have to select the layer number you want to make selection. So what I did at first, bin layer is selected and I want to select the color layer. That's why I have to press Control button from my keyboard and I'm selecting the color layer. And you can see here that the color and the bin layer is selected. So I want to combine these two layers. That means this image and this bin layer will be a single layer. Therefore, you have to convert this layer into smart object. So after making selection of two layers, you just have to right click in your text area, then you will have this convert to smart object option. Let me click convert to smart object, and you can see here that bin layer is converted in here and the color layer is not present anymore. So if you turn off this bin layer, then the color layer and the text layer will be turned off, because I have merged or combined this two layer at a single layer. Okay, so if you need to get your text layer differently and if you need to get the color layer differently, in that case you have to double click to this icon. Remember one thing, when you will have this icon inside your layer thumbnail, you have to consider these things as a smart object. Okay, so if you now want to edit your text once again, in that case you have to double click to your icon and then you have to click OK. So I'm clicking don't show again. So now you can see a new layer is opened in our new tab, and we have the text layer as well as we have our color layer. So now if we want to make any correction, in that case, suppose you are going to apply some new text after bin, in that case you have to take the horizontal type tool, you have to type in here, then you can write good day. And once it's done, you just have to click this tick mark, and now you can see we have some more text that been good day. And then if you get back to your untitled one in here, it's not present the good day text in here. Do you know why? Because we just added these things but it's not saved. So therefore you just have to press file menu, and from there you can just use this save option, or you can press Ctrl and S button for saving. So now let's get back to our untitled one layer, and now you can see that Ben Good Day text is available. So this is how you will convert, or you will combine some layer in a single layer. And once you need to edit any specific layer from that smart object, you just have to double click in this smart object icon, and then a new tab will be appeared, and you will be able to make the changes or applying the new effect or any other designer to your text or to your layer. So I hope you have the idea how this layer is working, and this is the basic introducement of layer in Adobe Photoshop. Good morning, dear students. Now we are going to learn about the levels in Adobe Photoshop. So you need to know what is levels in Adobe Photoshop. Let me explain you first. Level is a tool in Adobe Photoshop and other image editing program which can move and stretch the brightness level of an image histogram. It has the power to adjust brightness, contrast, and tonal range by specifying the location of the complete black, complete white, and midtones in a histogram. So this is the definition of levels of Photoshop. Now we will learn in details about the levels applying in Photoshop. So therefore we need to open an image from our exercise file, and therefore you just have to click this file menu, and from there you will have this open option, and inside our exercise file you will have this David Kovalenko unsplash image. So you just have to select it and then you have to click open. Okay, you can see here a beautiful image of a forest and a plane landed or crashed inside the forest. This is an image, and we will apply the levels in here. Therefore at first we have to do two things. The first thing is, you can see here inside of our layer panel we got the layer, and the name of the layer is background. And at first we need to unlock this background. So you can unlock this background layer in two ways. The first way is you can just click with your mouse in this lock icon, and another way is you just have to rename the name of the layer. So instead of background, if you type some name, or if you type some other name, in that case the background layer will be unlocked. So I'm just using this unlock option. Therefore you have to place your mouse cursor in this lock icon and you have to press, and you can see here right now that the background layer is converted to layer O. Actually it's unlocked, and therefore the name of the background layer is changed and it's now turned to layer 0. Okay, fine. Now the second thing is we have to apply the labels in here. So where you will have the labels, you should have to go to the adjustment option in here. By default you may have the properties, but you will not get the labels inside the properties. You have to go to the adjustments tab, and in the adjustments tab you will have this labels option. So you can see here some kind of candleized icons. This is the labels, but when you will place in any adjustments tools, you will have the name at here. So this is my brightness and contrast adjustment tools, and this is my levels adjustment tools. So I'm going to click this levels adjustment tools. So now you can see another layer is added to our layer panel, and the name of the layer is levels 1. Now we have to learn how you will apply the levels. You can see here in properties tab we got the settings for levels. So as we learned, if you need to increase the brightness, in that case you can increase the brightness using levels. So I'm keeping all these things default, like presets. I'm keeping the custom presets, I'm keeping the RGB by default, and as well as I'm keeping the auto. So if you need to increase the brightness, in that case you have to take your mouse to the right side. You can see here that 3 pointers in here. These pointers, I mean at left side pointers, are working for the darkness, and the right side pointers, it's working for increasing the brightness. So if you need darkness, you have to increase, or you have to use this left side pointer, and if you need to increase the brightness, in that case you have to use this right side pointer. So as an example, I'm moving this I'm moving this right side pointer at left side, then the brightness will be increased. Let me show you. I'm moving the pointer at left side and the brightness is increasing. And if you want to reduce the brightness from here, in that case you have to move this pointer at right side, then brightness will be decreased. Or instead of moving this pointer, you can just directly put the value in here. So for increasing the brightness, you have to reduce the value in here. So you can see here right now it's have 255 point, but if you want to increase the brightness, you have to decrease the point in here. So as an example, instead of 255, I'm going to use 155, and you can see the output in here. And as well as you can see, the pointer is placed at the middle. So this is the major function for increasing the brightness using levels. Okay, now I'm going to increase the darkness, and therefore you must have to use the levels as well. So as I told you before, that for increasing the brightness you have to use this right side pointer, and for increasing darkness you have to use this left side pointer. So now I'm going to show you how to increase the darkness. So this is the image, and I'm going to move this pointer at right side, and you can see here the darkness is increasing. Okay, so this is the use of that left side pointer for increasing the darkness. Let me reduce, or let me move this pointer as like before at the same place, and we have the default image that we opened. Or instead of moving this pointer, you can directly just place the value in here. Right now we have the 0 value in here, and instead of 0, if you type 50, then you will have the brightness in here. So these places are for the putting the values, and these are the pointers. And in my point of view, these pointers are good to use for applying the proper darkness for the images. So I am going to move this pointer at the previous position, so we have the previous images. So you have the idea right now about the using of levels for increasing brightness as well as the darkness. Okay, now we're going to work with different colors. This is really important. Please focus on here, students. So you can see that we have RGB. This RGB stands for the 3 colors first alphabet. R for red, G for green, B for blue. Red, green and blue, that stands for RGB. So if you want to increase or decrease any specific color for this image, in that case you have to use this RGB. Let me show you how these things are working. If you want to increase or if you want to work with the red color, in that case you can apply or you can select this red. Now only the red color will be applicable in here. So if you want to apply some kind of red impact to this image, in that case you just have to use this right side pointer and you have to move this pointer at left side. Then the reddish impact will be applied. That means the red color will be stronger in this image. Let me show you. So here is the pointer and I am moving this pointer at left side, and as I was saying, when you will move the pointer at right to left, the red color will be active or stronger in this image. So you can see here none other than other color like blue, like greens are actively strong in here. Only the reddish effect is applied strongly. So when you will select red, this will be the impact. So let me take this pointer at the previous position, and this is the pointer for the darkness as well. So if you now move this pointer at right side, you will have not the same impact as like before, because if you want to increase the darkness, in that case you have to put this RGB option, but we are just using with the red color as well. That's why for the red you will not have the darkness impact as like before. Okay, the next one is green. So if you want to increase the green color activity in here in this image, you just have to move this pointer at left, and you can see here it seems quite stronger green color is applied to this image. Let me put this pointer at the same position and let me move this darkness pointer, and you can see here that the image have a strong green color. That's why when I will move this pointer at right, the darkness will be applied stronger. So you can ask me the question, why these things is not happened while I was using the red color? Because the red color wasn't actively applied to this image, because this image is totally strongly covered with the green color. That's why when I am just moving this darkness pointer, the darkness is applied properly. So I hope you have the idea how this darkness is workable for the images. If this image are contains with maximum number of red color, in that case when you will select the red color and when you will move the dark pointer or when you will increase the darkness, then the image will be darker or the darkness will be applied to this image. But using of red color, and if you increase the darkness right now, the darkness will not applied in here. I hope now you have the idea. But if the images contains with maximum red color, then the darkness could be increased. Okay, so we just learned about the red and green. Now time for blue. So you can see here we have very less number of blue colors in here. If you consider the plane, it could be considered as a light blue color. Therefore, when you will move this pointer for the brightness, then the main blue color will be applied to the plane as well as the image. So you can see here the difference. So I am taking this pointer at the previous position and let me show you with the pointer of darkness. So as I was saying that the image is applied for the green color and is have the maximum percentage of green color. That's why the darkness button or darkness pointer seems quite inactive. So this is the use of red, green and blue color. But if you consider this RGB, then the entire darkness or brightness will be applicable for here. For increasing the darkness, you will have this result in this way, and if you want to increase the brightness, you will have the result in this way. So I hope you have the idea how levels are working in Photoshop, and you have all the functions just seen in here, that which are the workable in levels for what purpose. So ladies and gentlemen and dear students, I'm going to see you in our next lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this chapter, and this is a chapter about vibrance and saturation. So this is really important and interesting things, because if you know the proper use of vibrance and saturation, then you will be able to create different type of active and stronger image. So that's why it's important to know about the use of vibrance and saturation. So therefore I want to open an image from my exercise file, and therefore instead of clicking create new, I'm directly clicking this open option, and from my exercise file I'm going to click this Trevor Unsplash image. So you just have to select it and then you have to click open. Okay, cool. So you can see this is an image of a forest, and you can see that we don't have the active green color for the leaves, or it's don't have the stronger green color in the forest. So therefore we are going to create, or we are going to apply the vibrance and saturation for making this image more active. So therefore I'm going to duplicate this background layer first, and you know how to duplicate the background layer. So I'm duplicating the layer because it will help me to compare between before and after. So therefore I'm going to click this background layer, and from there I'm going to click this duplicate layer option. And in here I'm going to type V and S, that means vibrance and saturation. So here is my main layer and it's logged, but I will start working with V and S, that means vibrance and saturation, for making this image more active. So question is where you will get the vibrance and saturation. Answer is you will have the vibrance and saturation inside this adjustments tab. So under the adjustments tab, you will have this vibrance option. So let me click this vibrance option. Then you will have the properties of the vibrance and saturation. And you can see that vibrance layer already added to our layer panel. So if you need to apply a small amount of active color for the image, in that case you can work with the vibrance. And you can see here is the pointer. If you move this pointer at right side, you will have the stronger color, and if you move this pointer at left or in negative value, in that case you will have inactive color. So let me take this cursor at right side, and you can see this image seems much better than before. Let me compare the before and after effect. So let me turn off the vibrance layer, and you can see this is the actual or original image of ours. But when I applied 100% vibrance and when I turned on the vibrance layer, it's now look like this. Now it seems that we have more active than before. And if you need to reduce the vibrance, in that case you just have to move this pointer at left side, and now you can see it looks almost like a black and white color, but it's not fully looks like a black and white because it still have the green colors in here. So for removing the activeness from your image, you have to move the pointer at negative value. You can see now we have negative 100 point and the pointer placed at left side. So for making active, you just have to move this pointer at right, then you will have this output. So I hope you got the idea about the uses of vibrance. And now I am going to use the use of saturation. If you need to make the more hard color or more stronger color, in that case you can apply the saturation. Let me show you. If you are not satisfied with this active color, but if you need some more green or more stronger color for this image, just increase the saturation. Let me move this pointer at right side, and you can see right now that I only applied 76 point, and now we got the image. And if you now move the pointer of saturation for 100%, now the image looks like this. Isn't it looks much better than before? Answer is yes, because in our previous image we don't had enough background color, enough green color for the image. But now let's compare between before and after applying the saturation for this image. Let me turn off the vibrance layer. This is the previous condition of our image, and after applying 100% vibrance and 100% saturation, here is the output. So now if you want to save this image in this format, in that case you can first convert this 2 layer into smart object, and now you can save it to your computer. Let me show you how it will save it. So for saving, you just have to click this file menu, and from there you will have this save as option. So let me click in here, and then a pop-up will appear, and you have to declare that where the image will be saved. You have to declare the root. So I'm going to save this image in my exercise file, and at first you have to declare the save as type. So if you want to save in Photoshop or PSD format, then it will not be saved as an image. But if you saved in PSD format, then you will have the same setup or same functionality with the layers, and you can re-edit all the layers later. So if you want to save in a raw file, in that case you can use the PSD format. So if you save in PSD format, then you can open this file later, and you can still have the vibrance layer, you can still have the background layer, and you can still have all the layers that's contains in here. So this is the uses of PSD format, but I don't want to save it in PSD format right now. I want to save it as an image. Therefore, you can see here that save as type. You just have to click in here, and from there you can select JPEG, JPEG format. Then it will be saved as a image. So let me type the name of this image as an V and S, vibrance and saturation. So let me click save. Then another pop-up will appear that what will be the quality of your image. So if you need the maximum number of quality, in that case you can put the maximum, or you can put the values over here. So here is 4 type of quality, like low, medium, high, and maximum. So I just place the maximum in here, and once it's done you just have to click OK. Okay, now let me open my folder. So I saved my image in my exercise file, and now you can see that it's saved in this format. And let me open it, and here is the image I saved. That means I increase the color, or I increase the vibrance and saturation, and I make this image more active than before, and now it's looking this way. Okay, so I hope you have the idea that how vibrance and saturation are working in Adobe Photoshop. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to learn about the hue and saturation in Adobe Photoshop, and this is really a kind of interesting lesson. So let's start learning about the hue and saturation. So at first you need to know the hue and saturation. What is that? You already learned about the vibrance and saturation in our last lesson, but what is the hue and saturation? Suppose you need to change color, a specific color for an image. In that case, you can use hue and saturation. So let's start learning about the hue and saturation. So I'm going to open an image from our exercise file. Therefore, here is the open option, and inside our exercise file, I'm going to select this yellow flower in dark manish. So I'm just selecting it and I'm clicking open, and you can see that I have a beautiful yellow flower in here, but we have the black background as well. So if you need to change the color for this image, suppose you need to make this flower as a red, or if you need to make this flower as a pink or green or a red or purple or cyan, so whatever color you need, you can change it just in one click. This hue and saturation is one of the amazing tools in Adobe Photoshop. So let's start the process. So at first you need to know where you will have the hue and saturation tool. You will get the hue and saturation tool under this adjustments tab. So you can see here, this is my adjustments tab, and under the adjustments tab you will have this hue and saturation options. Let me click this hue and saturation option. Then in properties tab you will have the options for working with hue and saturation. Let me increase the area of properties. You just have to place your mouse cursor in between the properties tabs and properties panel and the layer panel. So if you need to increase layer panel, you just have to pull it up, and if you need to increase the properties panel, you need to pull it down. Okay, so you can see here that we have a kind of yellow or kind of orange flower in here, but I need to change the color. Therefore, you have to use this hue pointer. If you move this pointer and any color, the color will be changed. Let me show you. This is my pointer, so I am moving my pointer at left and negative value. So what it's happened, our yellow flower turned into red. Isn't it looks very interesting? Of course, yes. Then if you need to change the color once again or any other color, in that case you have to turn it in here. So now what's this turned into? It's turned into pink color. Let me move in here. Then what we got the purple color, we got the blue color. So this is really amazing. So our just a yellow flower turned in different colors of flower, like this, yeah, this blue, this purple, this pink, this red, and finally we have our actual color or the exact image we have. So if you need to change in other ways like green flower or other color like cyan green, how it will have, you just have to move this pointer at right side. So let me move that pointer at right side. So as I was saying, now I have the exact yellow color. This is a kind of orange color, and now it's turned into yellow color. And you can see here that I have the zero value of hue. That's why it's a kind of orange color. But if you need the exact yellow, in that case you have to move till 17 point and plus 17, and now we have the exact yellow color. Let me move this pointer more right, and now it's turned into green color. Let me move this pointer more here. Now we got the cyan color. So I hope now you got the idea how these things are working. So let me turn in here. It seems kind of green. And you know the use of saturation, because we already learned about the saturation in the last lesson. So let me decrease the saturation, and now it seems pretty good for green effect. And if you need some extreme level saturation for the green color, in that case you can have to increase the saturation, and now it's turned in this way. So depend on your needs, what will be your flower color or what will be the level of saturation. You can determine or you can customize these things from this properties panel. And then you have the lightness option. So if you need to increase or decrease the lightness, you can move this pointer. So for reducing the lightness, you just have to go to the negative value. You can see now it's at -44 and the lightness is reduced. And if you need to increase the lightness, in that case you can go for the plus point, but it will have not a good impact in here. That's why you have to work with the minimum value. Okay, so this is an amazing way for changing the color for any specific flower using hue and saturation. So I hope you enjoyed this chapter, and I'm going to see you in your next chapter. And next chapter is going to be more interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to learn about how you will change a specific color. Let me show you. It's not so easy. It's kind of complicated. The last lesson you just applied hue and saturation to an image, and you can see this is the image we used in last lesson, and what we had the dark background for it. But how it will change the color if we have the background in an image, and if you need to change any specific color, how it will do that? You can do that easily, but it's not so easy. But don't worry, I'm going to teach you in easiest way. So therefore, at first I'm going to open my exercise file, and from there I'm going to use this change specific color. And you are already familiar with this image because we used this image in our second lesson. Okay, so I'm going to click open, and you can see here this is an image of a flower, and it's a combination of a red flower, but it's have the background. You can see there is some grasses in here, and the grasses have a green background. So if you need to change only the red color, how it will do that? Suppose you don't want to change all the colors from here, only the red part you want to change. How it will do that? Let me show you how it will do that. So yes, you were right that we have to go to the adjustments tab, and from there we have to use the hue and saturation tools. But Now is the question, if you move this pointer at left or right, what will be happen? Only the red color will be changed or entire color will be changed? Answer is the entire color will be changed, and let me show you how these things are working. So you can see that along with the red color, my yellow color also changing. So this is my actual image that I have yellow color in center and I have red color as well. So when I'm moving the cursor at left, along with my red color, that yellow color also changing, as well as the grass colors also changing small. But I don't want it. Now you can see the exact, all the image are turned into different mode. Look, now all the green grasses are turned into pinks. And now what? We got the cyan color for the flower, but all the image don't have the exact background color. And we want to keep the background color as like before. That grass color will be the green, remain green, only the red color will be changed. This is what I want to do. So therefore, let me take my previous value. So what I'm exactly looking for, I want to change the background color from here, and then I want to change exact red color from here, and my yellow color will remain same, my green background will remain same, only the red things will be changed. Therefore, how you will do that, you have to click this master option. So if you click in master option, then you will have this reds option. So let me click reds, and now let me move the pointer at left side. So what just happened, my red color turned into pink, my yellow color remains same, as well as my background color remains same. So this is what I'm looking for. Now my flower turned into purple, but all the backgrounds and my yellow colors remain same. Now it's turned into blue, but I have same background as like before. So this is how you will change in a specific color in an image, and this is how it will keep the background as like before, and just you will change a specific color. So instead of red, if you want to change the yellow color, in that case you just have to click in here, then you can pick this yellow option. And now if you move the pointer at somewhere, then what is happening, that yellow color turned into pink, but all the things are remain same. So this is how it will change any specific color on Adobe Photoshop software using hue and saturation tools. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to learn about all the tools that are in Adjustments tab. So let's jump to our main lesson. So I'm going to open a file from our exercise, and I'm going to pick this Natalia mock unsplash image. So you just have to click it and you have to click open. Okay, so this is our image. So at first, under the adjustment tabs, let's learn with the brightness and contrast. So if you need to increase brightness, you can just increase the brightness. This is the pointer, and if you move this pointer at right, brightness will be increased, and if you move at left side, brightness will be decreased. And for contrast, if you move this contrast pointer at right side, then you will have the contrast in this way, and if you move this pointer at left, you will have the effect in this way. So for increasing brightness and contrast can give you a good impact. So if you increase the contrast, then the black part will be more active in this image. So I hope you got the idea how brightness and contrast are working under the adjustments tool. Okay, so you can see that brightness and contrast layer already added. So I'm turning off because we will apply more adjustments tools in this image. Okay, so this is our exact image right now. Okay, the next one is curves. So if you click curves, then this bar will be appearing here, and if you want to increase the brightness or darkness, you can use these curves as well. So let me move this curve at here, and you can see the impact. It seems the brightness is increased, and if you need to reduce the brightness, you can reduce the brightness as well, and you can see now it seems that the dark effect is applying on the image. Okay, so the curves have multiple uses. You can see right now we have the RGB, that means red, green and blue. But instead of RGB or red, green and blue, if we want to work with a specific color like levels, in that case you can select the red one, and if you move the pointer at here or at top left, then the red color will be increased in this image, and same thing will be happen if you move the pointer at bottom right, then you will have the image. Okay, so similar that here is red, here is for green, so greenish effect is applying on the image. And for blue, the same thing will happen, this bluish effect is applying on the image. And this is how you will use the curve for changing the image adjustments in here. So instead of red, green and blue, you can keep RGB, then the brightness will, along with the red, green and blue, three colors will increase with the brightness or the darkness. Okay, so I hope you got the idea how curves is working. So let me turn off the curves, and now I'm going to click this adjustments tab, and I'm going to use this exposure. So when you will work with DSLR cameras image, this exposure is really important, and you have to consider one thing, is that you cannot increase exposure a lot, because if you increase exposure a lot, in that case your image can be burned. Okay, so let me show you. If you want to increase the exposure or light or brightness, in that case you have to move this pointer at right side, and you can see the exposure is increasing. And if you increase the maximum level, so as I was saying, that image could be burned. So now the effect seems like this. So therefore you have to play with small value of exposure for increasing the proper brightness. And if you want to decrease the exposure, you can move the pointer at left side. Okay, let me turn off the exposure. And the next tools is about color balance. Okay, so if you need to work with some specific colors, in that case you can use this color balance, and it's have different parameter like cyan and red, magenta and green, yellow and blue. So let me move this pointer at here at cyan sides, then the cyan effect will be applicable to your image. And if you need the reddish effect, in that case you have to move in here. Okay, so same things for magenta and green. If you need some pink effect or purple effect, in that case you can use this magenta color balance, and for greenish you just have to move the pointer at right. Okay, so here is the impact is applying. So for yellow you have to move the pointer at left side, and for blue you have to move the pointer at right side. So you can combine some different parameter, and you can combine in a different ways, and you can create in different parameter for providing different look. Okay, now it seems like it's a kind of a vintage, some kind of vintage image. So we will learn about how to create the vintage image in our another lesson. So this is just about the introducement of color balance. Okay, so let me turn off the color balance layer, and now I'm going to learn this black and white option, or this I'm going to show you the use of this black and white tools. And if you want to make the image properly the black and white, you just have to click in there, then the image will be turned into black and white. But if you need some customization for specific colors like red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, magentas, you can also move these things. So let me move these red colors at here, so you can see some impact is applying on here. So if you need to make some more white for a specific object, in that case you can focus on red. So similar like yellow, you can see the lawns are now changing the colors. So if you're moving at the left side, the lawns are getting darker, but if you need some more or white lawn, in that case you can turn it at right side. So for green, you can see that the trees effect and the shadows are applying over here. So this is the green pointer, same as for cyan painter, as well as the blue. You can see when you are moving the blue, the sky is applying. So if you need to make the visible sky, in that case you can move the blue pointer at left side. So it's totally a black and white image, but with the blue you can make the visible of the clouds in the sky. And then here is the magenta. So for magenta, you can see here not all these things are applying over here. Only in here, this two ladies are sitting in here, and these bags are changing the color. That means that bags are contains with the magenta color. Don't you believe it? Let me turn off this black and white layer and see is these bags have some magenta color. So where which color is applied, that color is changing when you were moving this pointer. So let me turn on, and you can see that the magenta color is widely working in here. So as I was saying, that the green color is applying all over this, like trees, like lawns, and all the other green assets are in here. So depend on your needs, you can change any specific color in here using these pointers. Okay, let me turn off the black and white. In our adjustment tab, we have some more tools like photo filter, channel mixer, and color lookup. These three things we will skip for now, because we have a different menu in here for filter, and we're going to learn about the filters in a different lesson. Okay, so one more thing, that is invert and threshold. So let me turn on the invert. So once you need the negative value, like a negative film negative effect, in that case you can turn on the invert. And for threshold, if you need the black and white but the image will be looks like a negative, in that case you can use this threshold. So remember one thing, when you will turn on the threshold, it will turn your image to black and white. So as I was saying, that when you will turn on the threshold, it will turn your image into black and white. And you can consider, or you can scale up your threshold with this pointer. So depend on your need, what will be the maximum number of the color. Basically threshold works with the two color, black and whites. So the percentage of white or percentage of black you can consider through this pointer. So ladies and gentlemen, you have the basic idea about the adjustments tools that are necessary for using in Photoshop, and I hope now you know which adjustment tools are working in which purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, right now we're going to learn about the gradients in Adobe Photoshop. So let's learn about the gradient, and therefore I'm going to create a new document. And you know how to create a new document. You just have to click this create new option, and I'm going to pick this default Photoshop size. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the use of gradient first in object, in text, everywhere. I'm going to show you the use of gradients. So at first, I'm going to take this rectangular tool, this rectangle tools, and I'm going to draw a rectangle shape. Okay, so you can see that I have created a rectangle shape, and I'm going to change the fill color. And instead of the solid color, this called a solid color, and instead of that, I'm going to pick from this fill option. So you will have two fill option and both are same. So you will have the fill option at here, as well as you will have the fill option inside this appearance, and it's under the properties tab. So I'm going to use this fill option from here, and once you click in the color, a pop-up will appear. So as we are talking about the gradient, that's why you have to click in this option. So let me click in this option, and you can see that it's turned to gradient. Actually, what is gradient? Gradient is a combination of two or more color. So if you have a single color, you can consider these things as a solid color, but if you want to combine multiple color, then it will be counted as the gradient. And Photoshop already provides different type of presets. So this is, you can see here in our screen that it's the default gradient preset. And if you need some more presets, you can just use these basic folders. Then you will have three type of presets. And if you scroll your mouse, or if you click in down arrow, then you will have multiple folders like blues, purples, pinks, reds, orange, and green, gray, clouds, and many more colors are available. So in every folder there are lots of presets. So let me open this blue folder, and you will have different type of presets over here. So if you pick any preset, it will be applicable to your main document or to your rectangle that you just created. So you can pick any presets, but after picking the preset, if you want to customize more, in that case you will able to do that. I'm going to show you, but before that I'm going to show you different type of presets like purple. If you want to apply some purple preset, in that case you can pick any purple presets from here. Lots of presets are provided from the Adobe, and you can pick any preset that you're looking for. So here is the pinks, here is the reds, and here is the oranges. Let me pick this one. And in here there is a green folders. You will have different type of presets of green, like this one, this one. Number of presets are available. So there are lots of presets are available, but if you want to make a custom color presets or custom gradients, in that case you have to follow one thing, that is you have to select your own color. And you can see that here is 2 pointers. So at left side you can consider your first first color, and in right side you can consider your second color. So let me start with the first one. You just have to double click with this color icon, then the color picker will be available in here. Then you can pick any color from here. What will be your color? So instead of green, I'm going to pick the yellow color in here. This is my first color, and for the second one you just have to double click with your mouse in the color, this dot, and then another color picker will pop up and you can pick what will be your second color. You can pick it up from here. So I'm going to pick this one and let me click OK. So you can see this is my custom made gradients. Okay, cool. If you need to add some more color in between of them, you can do that very easily. So for adding some more color, likewise, I'm going to add some green color in between of yellow and this red color. So where you want to add the color, you have to place your mouse cursor in here and you have to click ons, and you can see in another color dot is appear. So you just have to double click in here and then you can pick any color that you want to place over there. So as an example, I'm going to use this light green color. And now what will be the percentage of your gradient? You can set it up from here. So let me move the pointer in here and you can see the percentage is increasing, and if you need to add some more, you can add it properly. So let me show you by adding another. So I want to add another color in here, and let me change the color. So let me pick the blue one and let me click OK. So now you can see I have total combination of 4 different color, and where you want to place in which direction you can set it up from here. And if you need to change the angle, in that case you can change it very easily. For changing the angle, you just have to use this wheel, and this called the angle wheel. So right now we have 90-degree angle. So if you want to change it, you just have to change the direction. Right now I have -7 degree and this is the output. This is my -100 degree. This is my output. This is 159 degree. 128 degree, 170 degrees, 64, 46. So this is the angle in which way you want to keep the gradient on your rectangle. Okay, so now you can see I have created a gradient and it's have 4 different way. Okay, so we just created the gradient, but this is just for the creating gradient, and in our next lesson we are going to create gradient for text. This is, we just created gradient for just a rectangle shape, but it's not for the gradient. We are going to create gradient for the text in our next lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to learn about applying the gradient inside the text. So therefore I'm directly going to create new option, and from there I'm picking the default Photoshop size, and now I will create a text first and then I will apply the gradient inside the text. So for creating the text you have to use this horizontal type tool, and I'm going to type here the compound effect. Okay, so you can see I just written a text in here, but I want to increase the text size. Therefore you have to make a selection and then you have to click this point option, and I'm going to use this 72 point. And from the regular you can use this bold option as well. So then you will have the greater size. So once it's done, you just have to click this tick mark. Okay, so we got the text in here, but we have to scale it properly. And for scaling properly, you have to use the move tool. So here is the move tool, and using the move tool, you will be able to place this text in here. So it seems that some text remain outside of the document. Therefore, I want to use this type tool, and I'm going to place my mouse cursor after D, and I'm pressing enter button from my keyboard, and now it's appeared in here. So now I'm going to select all these things, and I'm going to change the alignment. So here is the alignment option. So instead of left alignment, I'm going to pick this central alignment. Okay, so it seems here now I have to click this tick mark, and now I have to use the move tool to place my text in here. Okay, so what we got the text over here, and now I want to fill the text color instead of the solid color. Right now we have the solid color, that is the black color, but instead of that I want to fill the text as a gradient color, and therefore you have to make sure that you have selected the text layer inside your layer panel. So you can see that a new text layer is added, and for applying the gradient you have to click this add a new layer style, or it's called the effects option. So let me click this effects option, and from there I'm going to use this gradient overlay. So I'm selecting this gradient overlay. Then a pop-up will appear, and inside the pop-up you will have the setup of gradient, and you can see once I applied the gradient overlay, you can see here that our text style is just changed. But I don't want to keep these things in this way. I want to change the gradient style, and for changing the gradient style of the text you have to click this gradient option. Then another pop-up will appear. So as I was saying in our last lesson, that Photoshop provides different type of presets. So from there I'm going to pick some kind of a blue color, and as an example I'm going to pick this one, and you can see here is the output. And if you want to take purple, you can pick any purple presets from here. So as an example I'm picking this one, and I'm clicking OK, and let me click OK. So you can see I have successfully added gradient to the text. So this is how you will add the gradient to your text. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about stroke. So this is our last lesson created, that's the gradient in the text, and now we are going to apply stroke in this text, and stroke is really important. So that's why we are not creating some new text, we are going to apply the stroke in this text. So please make sure that you have selected the text layer, and for applying the stroke you just have to go to the effects option, and from there you will have this stroke option. Then a pop-up will appear, and you can see this is the settings for your stroke applying. So at first you need to set up the size of your stroke. So right now we have 42 pixel, but I don't want to keep 42 pixel. I am going to put 0 or 1 pixel just for time being, because at first we have to declare the color, what will be our stroke color. By default it's have right now the white color, and therefore the stroke is not understandable right now because the background color also white. That's why I am going to change the fill color, and instead of white I'm going to pick the black color, and then I'm going to click OK. So you can see a slight or a small stroke is added to our text, and now I have to increase the size. So let me increase the size, and you can see when I just put only 9 pixels, we got a nice stroke to our text. And then you have to set up the position, that will it be stroke placed at outside of the text or inside of the text. Right now we have the outside in position, but if you want to place the stroke inside of the text, in that case you can set the inside option. And now you can see that stroke is placed inside of the text, and if you need to place in center, you can use this center option. But the best way for getting the proper look is the outside. So therefore I am placing the outside in here. And if you need more stroke, in that case you can increase the point, and then you will have the effect in this way. But it's not seems good. Therefore I think 9 pixels seems good. And if you need to reduce the opacity, in that case here is the options for reducing or increasing the opacity. Right now we have 100% of opacity, so let me show you how it will reduce or decrease the opacity. So I just placed 75%, and you can see that my text is shows the less opacity. So let me increase for 100% and let me click OK. And you can see here inside my layer panel, along with my gradient overlay layer, I got the stroke. So if you want to disable the stroke from this text, you just have to turn off the stroke layer. You can see the stroke is gone. As well as if you want to remove the gradient overlay from this text, you can turn it off. So we have the exact color right now, and it's called the default text. So I'm turning on the gradient overlay as well as the stroke. So now we just learned how you will apply stroke to the text in Adobe Photoshop, and in our next lesson we are going to learn how you will apply bevel and emboss to your text. And if you can combine gradient overlay, stroke and bevel emboss at once, then you will have a greater view of your text. And this is what we are going to do in our next lesson. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about the use of bevel and emboss. So we will work in our previous text, and you can see that in our previous text we have added stroke and gradient overlay as well, but one more thing is missing, that is bevel and emboss. Actually, when you will use the bevel and emboss, it will give you a 3D look to your text. So for adding bevel and emboss, you just have to click this effects option once again, and from there you will have this bevel and emboss option. So let me click this bevel and emboss option, and you can see here is the default setting, and you can see once I just used the bevel and emboss, the type of our text is just changed, even the design. So let me reduce all these things, and now we have the preview of our text in this way. So let me show you how you will make more active your text with the bevel and emboss. So you have to increase depth for 168% as well. Then you have to increase the size like 27 pixel or 24 pixel. Then you have to increase the soften. So you have to increase the soften, then it will make more soft your text. Then you have to declare the style of your bevel. Will it be inner bevel or outer bevel? So by default it's placed inner bevel, but if you want to use this outer bevel, in that case you can use the outer bevel, and here is the output. If you want to use only emboss, this is the output of only emboss. If you want to use this pillow ambush, you can use this pillow ambush as well. And then if you want to get this stroke ambush, you can use it as well. But the best outlook gives that inner bevel. That's why I'm using this inner bevel, and it's the best way. And if you want to change the angle, in that case you can change it from here. So like right now we have 164 degree, and here is the bevel angle is just changed. Now I'm using -100 degree, 21 degrees. So depend on your choices where you want to put the angles. You can set it up from here, and you can also change the direction. What will be the direction of the bevel? Like, is it up direction or down direction? So by default it's placed always at up direction, but you can change it very easily by clicking this down direction. So depend on your choice. Whatever you can set up in your text with the bevel and emboss. So let me click OK, and now you can see that we have a combination of text like a gradient overlay, stroke, and the bevel and emboss, and you can see all three things are applied in here. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about content aware tools in Adobe Photoshop. This is a magical tool, and you can use this magical tool for different purpose. Content aware tool will save you lots of tasks. It will save you lots of time as well. So let's start learning about the content aware tool in Adobe Photoshop. So I'm going to open an image from our exercise file, and you can see that Rodion unsplash image. I'm going to select this yellow image from here, and I'm going to click open. And you can see that this is an image of a yellow background and about a lady. So if you want to make an adjustment, or if you want to remove this lady from this image, how you will do that? And you can do that very easily using content aware tool. So you will keep the same background as like before, like the yellow background, but only the ladies will remove from here. Therefore you have to use the content aware tool, and I'm going to show you how it will do that. So therefore you have to make a selection of the lady, and therefore I'm going to use this lasso tool, and let's make a selection for the lady till here. And once the selection is done, you have to click this edit menu, and from there you will have this content aware fill option. So let me select content aware fill, and here is the preview. You can see the lady is removed from here. So let me click OK, and you can see the magic. The lady just removed from here, and we got the perfect yellow background in here. So now I need to deselect the selection, and you know how you have to deselect the selection. You just have to go for select menu, and from there you can use this deselect option. So you just seen the magic. We have successfully removed the lady from here, and we got the perfect yellow background as well. So this is how you will remove any subject or any object from an image using content aware tool, and it will help you to make the adjustment of your image with the proper background. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about content aware cropping. This is also really an interesting thing, and I'm going to open my exercise file, and from there I'm going to use this Eduardo unsplash image. It's an image about a red car, and let me click open. Okay, you can see this is an image of a red curve, but if you need to increase the image width at left side, at right side, but how it will do? You can just scale it and you can pull at the right side and you can pull at the left side, but what will happen? It will only stretch the image. But if you want to increase that left side along with the adjustment, in that case, how it will do? That means you will increase that left side as well as you will increase the road, you will increase the trees. You will increase that right side, and not only that right side, you will increase the road as well. That means you need to create some new roads at right side, you need to create new roads at left side, new trees, and make the adjustment with this roadside lands. So how I will do that, I'm going to show you. So as this lesson named as a content error cropping, that's why you have to use the crop tool. So you can see this is the crop tool, and once you will use this crop tool, you will have the setup in this way. So this is the pointer for how long it will pick the cropping. So at first I want to start cropping at the left side. Actually, it's not about the cropping, I'm extending at left side. So let me pull at left side. So what just happened, it's only happened the white space or my background space is just created in my left side, but my image is not make the adjustment in here. As I was saying that I will increase the road, that means I will create some new roads in here, I will create some new lands, new trees in here. So therefore, please make sure that you are checked with content error. Make sure you have to check this. Don't put this content error in this way. Make sure you mark this box. And now let me click this tick mark for commit transform. And you can see it's filling. And you can see the magic in here. In left side, my road is increased as well as my tree, as well as it's create a new roadside land in here. Now again, I am going to increase my roadside at left, and I want to increase my image at left side. So again, I have to click this crop tool, and now let me move this pointer a little left once again. So you can see we have the blank space in here. So let me click OK. And you can see we have increased successfully more in left side. So for right side, you have to follow the same process. For right side, I'm moving my pointer at a little in here, and let me click OK. So you can see it's increased at right side, at the road, at the tree, in both ways. So let me increase a little more. And let me click this tick mark. And you can see it's increased a lot, and it's make the auto adjustments. So this is how you will make the content error cropping of any image in Adobe Photoshop. Ladies and gentlemen, in this chapter we are going to learn about image blur. So how it will make image blur, this is what we're going to learn right now. So let's jump to our main section, and therefore I need to open some images. And for opening some images, I have to open my exercise file, and inside my exercise file you will have this Windows Unsplash image. So I'm just selecting it and I'm clicking open. Okay, here we go. You can see this is an image, and there are numbers of people inside the image, and we need to consider something different in here. What it will make blur? Do you want to make the entire image blur, or do you want to make a specific face blur? So this is what at first you need to decide. Okay, so at first I'm going to show you how it will make the face blur. So as an example, I want to blur this lady's face in here, and therefore we have to make a selection first, and therefore you can use this lasso tool for making a selection. So as an example, I am going to make a selection till here, and I want to make the blur for this specific face. And do you know how to make this entire image blur? You just have to click this filter menu, and from there you will have this blur option, and from there you will get this Gaussian blur option. So let me click Gaussian blur, then a pop-up will appear. You can see here, this is the pop-up. So now you have to increase the radius for making the blur of this selected area. So let me increase. Is it happening anything else? Answer is no, because 4.3 pixel for radius is quite low, and if you want to make hard blur, in that case you just have to increase the radius till here, and now you can see the output or the result. So when I just used 30 pixel, we got the blur. And if you need more, just increase the radius, then you will have these things in this way. So let me click OK, and now let me deselect this selection, and you can see right now this face got blurred perfectly. So now let me undo these things, and you know how to undo these things. Here is the edit menu, here is the undo deselect, here is the undo Gaussian blur. So we got our previous image back. So we just seen that how you will make a face blur or for a specific selected area blur. But if you need to make entire image blur, in that case you have to follow some different process, and you have to make sure that there is nothing selected in your image, because if you have any selected area or portion, in that case it will blur in a specific area. That's why make sure there is nothing selected on your image. And for this selection, I'm going to click this select, and here is the deselect option, and now I'm going to make blur this entire image. And for making blur of this entire image, you have to click this filter menu, and from the filter menu you have to click this blur option, and again we have to go to the Gaussian blur option. Then you can see that our entire image got blurred, because in last uses of Gaussian blur I used the radius for 98.5 pixel. So let me get back to 0 pixel, and here is the actual image. So depend on your needs, you just need to increase the blurriness. So let me increase a little, and this is the output. So depend on your needs, you can make the entire image blur using this Gaussian blur filter. And now let me select the radius for 0.1 pixel, and let me click OK. Okay, so you just learned how to make any specific area blur or face blur, or how to make the entire image blur in Adobe Photoshop. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about how to make the background blur. This is a trendy thing nowadays, because when you will have some images, and if you intend to make your background blur in Photoshop, so you need to know how to do that, and we are going to learn these things right now. So I'm going to open an image from our exercise file, and you can see that Finna's Unsplash image is available inside our exercise file. So I'm going to select this one, and you can see that we have the image in here and a beautiful lady in here, but I want to make the background blur for this image. That means the lady will remain same. You can consider these things as a subject, but the background will be blur. So this is our main things to learn right now. So therefore, first I need to unlock my background layer, and then I have to duplicate my background layer. So let me duplicate my background layer, and in here let me type mask. This is my name of the layer, and let me click OK. So you can see I have created two layers. One is background layer, that's I kept at bottom, and the new layer I just duplicated from the previous one, and I named the layer as mask. Okay, so please make sure the top layer in order or the mask layer is selected, and then you have to go for select menu, and from there you have to click this subject option. So you can see that Photoshop automatically saved, or Photoshop automatically select a selection for this beautiful lady, but there is some extra selection is done, and we need to remove this extra selection, and therefore you have to use this quick selection tool. So this is my quick selection tool, and for reducing or removing the extra selection you have to use this minus brush tool. So this is my minus brush tool, and let me zoom in the image, and you can see here is some extra selection, here is, and here is as well, and you can see here is some extra selection is contains, and you see now it's reduced the maximum number. Therefore I have to make the proper selection, and now I have to make a selection for this hair part, and therefore I'm using this plus sign or add tools option. And if you want to increase the brush size, here is the option for increasing the brush size. So right now I have 90 pixel, but I want to reduce the brush size as well, like 75. And now I'm going to make some selection. Okay, now you can see now it looks good, and you can see here we have some areas that got reduced, and I'm going to make the selection properly in here. Okay, now it looks good. We got the perfect selection, and now we have to add a mask for this image. So you know how to add mask? Inside the layer panel you will have this add mask option, and you have to click this add layer mask option, and now you can see in here a new layer is added in here, and this is called the genuine mask. So if you turn off the bottom layer, then you can see all the background is removed. That means the selected part are being separated from the main image. The things I have done, that I have separated the girls from the main image, and this is why I use the mask. So now let me turn on the main layer or layer O, and now we are going to background, making blur of the background. Therefore you have to select the bottom layer or layer O, and then you have to click the filter menu. From there you have to click this blur option, and from there you have to click this Gaussian blur option. So let me click this Gaussian blur, and now I have to increase the radius. So let's go with 7 pixel, 18 pixel, and when I use this 58 pixel, you can see now that the background got blurred, and now it seems more blur. Okay, 52 pixels seems good enough. So we were looking to make the background blur, and that's what we did. So let me explain you how these things is happened. Let me explain you inside the layer panel. In our first layer, in mask layer, I have made the separation of the ladies by selecting and applying the mask. And if you consider the second layer, I just apply the blur effect for this image. And you can see, if you turn off the first layer, then you can see all the images blurred. But as we separated the main subject from the image, and that's we kept transparent, and we applied the Gaussian blur effect for layer O. But if we apply the Gaussian blur in our mask layer, in that case our result will be similar like this. So we applied the Gaussian layer blur for this layer O, and we kept our main separated mask as like before. So now if you want to save it, you just have to convert these things into smart object, then it will convert it as a complete blur image. So I hope you got the idea how to make background blur in Adobe Photoshop using Gaussian blur. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about motion blur in Adobe Photoshop. So let's jump to our main point for learning about the motion blur, and therefore I'm going to open an image from our exercise file, and the name of my image is a horse race. Okay, so you can see that there are a number of horses that are racing in here, but it seems there is no motion is applied to this image. But I want to add some motion in this image, and I will make some blur effect as well. So therefore at first I need to unlock my background layer, and I'm going to duplicate this layer as well, and I'm going to type motion mask, and please make sure that motion mask layer is selected. And now you have to use this quick selection tool and make sure that you are using add selection. Okay, so I'm going to make the selection for this horse and the racer, and I will not make the selection for the other horses as well. So it seems it's a little complicated because there are lots of horses in here, and you can see there is some unnecessary part is got selected. So I need to select it properly, therefore I'm reducing the extra selected area in here. Actually, I don't need these grasses to be selected. I only need the legs for the first horse only. Okay, so I have made the perfect selection for here, and now there is some more part remain unselected. Okay, so I have made a selection for my first racer, and I need to add a little more for the head part only. Okay, looks good. So now I want to add a mask for my first racer, or my selected horse and the racer, and make sure that you have selected the motion mask layer, and then I'm going to add this add a layer mask option, and you can see that we have added a layer mask. So if I turned off this bottom layer, then you will have the preview in here. Okay, so now I have to apply the motion blur, and therefore you have to select this layer O, or the bottom layer, and then you have to click this filter menu. From there you have to click this blur option, and from there you have to go to the motion blur option. So I'm selecting this motion blur option, and here is the pop-up for applying the motion blur. And now I'm going to increase the radius or distance, and now you can see the motion is applied to our image. So depend on your need, you can increase or decrease the motion. So I'm going to increase the motions, and now it seems really well, and you can see that now the motion is properly added to this image. So this is how you will apply the motion blur in Adobe Photoshop. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about applying shadow in Adobe Photoshop. So let's start learning about the shadow steps in Adobe Photoshop. So therefore I'm going to open my exercise file, and here is the open option. Let me click open, and inside my exercise file you will have this fruit image. So you just have to select it, and then you have to click open. Okay, you can see that here is the image. So I want to apply a shadow to these fruits, and let's start the process. At first, what you have to do, you have to duplicate the layer, and before that I want to unlock the layer, and now I am going to duplicate the layer. And you know how to duplicate the layer. I'm going to write mask. Okay, so my layer name is mask, and I'm creating a mask layer. So now I have to make a selection, and I don't want to use the quick selection tool right now for the selection. I'm going to use the select menu, and from there I'm going to use the subject option. So you can see that I got the selection in here, but it seems that it's not selected properly, or it's don't have the accurate selection. Therefore you can use this quick selection tool, and make sure that you are using add selection form. Okay, then you have to increase the radius for making the selection that's not selected with the auto selection. And once every selection is done, you have to add a layer mask, and then you have to convert this layer mask into a smart object, and therefore make sure that you right click with your mouse on the text area, and then you will have this convert to smart object option. Okay, so you can see here that we have created properly, and it's converted into smart object. So now we have to apply the drop shadow in here. So how you will apply the drop shadow? You have to click this effects option, and from there you will have this drop shadow option. So let me click this drop shadow option. Then a pop-up will appear for drop shadow. So at first you have to increase the opacity. So right now we have 0% of opacity, so you need to increase 100% opacity. Then what you will do, you have to increase the distance. So as an example, I am going to using 55 pixel, and you can see here is the drop shadow is applied. Then I'm going to increase the percentage of spread. So as an example, I'm going to use 40% for spread, and now I have to declare the size. So let me increase the size And now you can see the drop shadow is added in here, but it seems the very strong drop shadow. So depend on your needs, you can reduce the opacity, then it will looks like the shadow. So instead of 100%, I'm reducing the opacity for 65%, and now it seems much better than before. And let me increase the distance pixel. Likewise 164. Let me increase some spread area, or you can increase or decrease the spread area of the shadow, and here is the option for size. Okay, so now if you want to change the angle, in that case here is the angle wheel. So in which direction drop shadow will be placed? So we used 83° and the drop shadow placed at bottom. We using 160°, the drop shadow placed at right side. We placed -94°, it's placed at top. And I think that 97° seems good enough, or you can put the default value like 90°, then the drop shadow will placed at below. So this is the simple measurement for applying the drop shadow. So let me click OK, and now you can see the drop shadow is properly added to this fruit. And this is how you will apply the drop shadow to in any image in Adobe Photoshop. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about the skin retouch in Adobe Photoshop. So when you will take some images, and if you have some spots on your skin or on your face, in that case that is really very it's a kind of disgusting things. And if you need to retouch these things or fix the skin or fix the spot on your image, you can do that very easily. So let me show you how you will do that. So therefore, as an example, I want to open an image from our exercise file. So let me click this open option. So you can see that we have an image, face portrait of man. An image is there, so you just have to select it and then you have to click open. Okay, so you can see that lots of spots on this lady's skin, and we are going to remove all these spots. Therefore, I want to duplicate the layer, and I'm just using my shortcut for duplicating layer, and I just pressed Ctrl and J button from my keyboard. And remember one thing, if you use Mac, you just have to press Command button from your keyboard instead of Ctrl. Okay, so now make sure that layer 1 or the duplicated layer is at top, and you selected this layer. Then you have to use this spot healing brush tool. So let me select this spot healing brush tool, and please make sure that you are using the type as content aware, because if you're not using this content aware type, then you will not get the actual result that you are looking for. So here is the brush size and the hardness of the brush you have to determine from here. So as an example, I don't need 500 pixel, I can work with 33 pixel, and you can keep 100% hardness. Okay, so you have to place your mouse where the spot is, and then you have to click once, and you can see the spot just vanished. So we have a big red space in here, and we need to remove these things. And you can see the spot removed properly. So let me remove all the spots. You just have to place the spot inside your brush, and you just have to click with your mouse. Okay, you can see the magic right now. Isn't it looks better than before? So let's compare between before and after, how these images look like. So this is the image after applying the spot healing brush tool, and let me turn off the first layer and you can see the difference between before and after. Lots of spots on the skin, lots of acne on the skin, but we all vanished this spot from the skin by applying spot healing brush tool. And let's compare the result, and it looks much better than before. So this is the simple process for removing or vanishing the spot from the skin in Adobe Photoshop. Ladies and gentlemen, in this lesson we are going to learn about teeth retouching in Adobe Photoshop. So let's open our exercise file, and you can see there is an image named teeth retouch. So you just have to select it and then you have to click open. Okay, so you can see here an image of a lady, and she is smiling, but we need to retouch her teeth, and we will make more whitening of a teeth with some tools. So therefore, at first I want to duplicate the background layer, and I'm just using my keyboard shortcut. So I just created or duplicated the layer as well. So you can see that I have selected the layer 1, and now let me zoom in the image. So you can see here it's have some yellow spots, or it's have some yellow effect on her teeth, and we are going to retouch it and we will make it more whitening. So therefore we have to use a sponge tool. So where you will have the sponge tool, you will have the sponge tool under the dots tool. So you just have to right click with your mouse, then you will have this sponge tool. And then here is the brush size. You can consider the brush size from here, and you can increase the hardness for 31%. And now you have to make white her teeth. You just have to use your mouse. You just have to press and hold the left button of your mouse, and you can see now it seems white than before. Okay, now it looks much better than before, and almost all the yellowish effect is removing from her teeth. Okay, now it looks good. So let me zoom out the image, and now let's compare between before and after. So therefore I am turning off my layer 1 because I applied the sponge tool on layer 1. So this is just for comparing between before and after. So I'm turning off my layer 1, and you can see that it's have the yellow effect, and now it looks much better than before, and it's have the perfect white teeth as well. Before, after. So this is how you will retouch of teeth using sponge tool in Adobe Photoshop.